Howdy everybody, this is Steve KM9G and I'm on the Retro Tech channel today doing a retro PC exploration. There is a whole lot of fun stuff installed on this machine because this used to be an old ham computer running in a ham shack doing some digital mode stuff. And since it's Windows XP, it must be of Windows XP vintage, so early 2000s. Let's get over on the bench and take a look at it. Oh man, if there are two things I like in this world, it is exploring old retro computers. Well, I guess kind of any computer, but the older stuff is more exciting to me than the newer stuff. The newer stuff, whatever. That's why we're here. It's the old stuff time. The other thing is ham radio, and I can marry the two together. That's why I'm wearing my call sign hat today. I can marry the two together because this PC is a computer that came out of a ham shack. I just turned it on and it just made some noise, but didn't fully start up. It's got kind of a weird power switch. There we go. Now it's running. All right, so this is an HP Brio, as you can see on the screen. We've used this a couple of times in the past on the channel to demonstrate some other things. Now we're playing around with the PC itself in its original configuration. This is a Pentium 2 333 megahertz. The Pentium 2 processor came out in 1998, and it's running Windows XP. I'm really not timing this to match up. It's just kind of happening that way. It's probably not going to happen that way again. Running Windows XP. Windows XP was released to the public late October 2001. So this machine has either been upgraded to Windows XP or would have been obsolete the day it was created. I'm not really sure. I couldn't find a born-on date for this machine. It is running really slowly. So we're kind of doing the boot up here. I'm actually going to have to speed through this a bit because it's going to take a while. Whew, that did take a ridiculously long amount of time to start up. So a couple of things that you can check on why your machine is starting slow is what is in your startup group, your startup folder, wherever that is. And geez, even the mouse is running weird. Let's see, startup, that's Outpost, that's startup. Startup is empty. And then the next thing is there are a couple of other ways to check. I haven't done this in a long time. Let's see if msconfig is on here. It's trying. Yeah, okay, normal startup, and then it'll check your system ini file for startup programs, and not seeing anything there. And it'll check your win ini, and I'm not seeing anything there. Boot.ini, that's a new one from, previous versions of Windows. Services, it's starting. Some services, not a whole lot. Running, well, I guess it is a whole lot. Yeah, like 2 pages worth of services startup. So you can go through these startups and figure out these services and figure out which ones you don't really need. And you can turn them off, reboot the machine, and then turn them back on if you find out that later on you do need them. Like DHCP client, for example, gets you connected to your TCP/IP network. This machine has a network card in it, but I'm not connected to any network. So I could disable that, and that would make it start faster because it's not going to try and load the service and look for an IP address and come back and tell me it can't connect to a network because there's no network installed or anything like that. So there's that. Let's see, start up here. Systray, that's fine. And this is checking your registry, so you don't even need to open up regedit. If you did not have the msconfig tool, let's see, tools, yep. If you didn't have the msconfig tool, you could go into regedit and you could look there. Let's see, and regedit. Regedit is one of those places that you probably shouldn't go if you don't know what you're doing, but under HKey current user, you will find software, Microsoft. This mouse doesn't have a wheel and I'm trying to scroll with the scroll wheel. Windows, Current version, run, and there's nothing there, and run once, and there's nothing there. And then the other places you can go are under local machine, same thing, local machine software, Microsoft, Windows, current version, and is there a run here? There is a run here, and we're running the system tray executable, which is fine, and we're running nothing else. So there's a couple of places that you can check for that. Let's see what what Windows thinks this machine is made of. What are its guts here? Properties, missed. Properties. It's painful to miss and have to try again. All right, Windows XP Professional version 2002, Service Pack 3. There's my Microsoft registration key. It's an Intel Pentium 2 processor, 334 megahertz. We get a bonus megahertz out of this. That's going to make all the difference in the world. And 64 mega RAM. And 64 mega RAM was quite a lot of RAM for this era of machine, this vintage of machine. So let's see what the hard disk size is and what the rest of the configuration is. And this hard disk is making some noise. All right, so we've got a 3.5-inch floppy drive. We've got a CD-ROM drive. The hard disk is 476 megabytes, so probably 512 megs, and then there's some overhead, and there's some calculation, and there's blah, 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 blah. So it's a FAT32 drive, which is interesting that it's not NTFS. It would run a little bit faster on NTFS, but for now, it is what it is. I want to just take a look at what the software is that's on here. That's what this video is all about. So right on the desktop, we've got our famous Internet Explorer. The recycle bin's empty. There's nothing. It's not connected to the network, so that's going to be empty. What is in my documents? Pack term, RS-232 document, Keytronics key code. What is gb.txt? Great Britain. Okay, what is new text document? From KC9DMY to KC9DMY. This looks like it's probably a WinLink message. Portable packet station using WD9GWG to connect to KC9DMY. Oh yeah, packet radio. Awesome. So this would have been Chuck using this machine to connect to a packet BBS. I want to get into that on this channel. Just haven't gotten there yet. I've got a TNC to do it, and I've got a couple of radios to do it. I just don't have time with all the other stuff that is exciting in this hobby. That's one of the things about the ham radio hobby is there's always so much to do. WinPack. All right. And a README file. Q forms. Okay, so this is a form sending program. Excellent. And so that would go along with the Q forms ini. Pack term for Windows. Let's see if this runs. It is an invalid shortcut, which is what it looked like because there was no icon there. All right, we've got messages. Nothing in the messages folder. No ebooks. Pictures, just sample pictures, utilities. All right, so that's Adobe Acrobat Reader. That looks like the installer. AVG is an antivirus program. Digipan. These all look like installers. NS setup would be Netscape, FreeZip. Looks like sound card drivers. Updates. SML4Y1US. Let's run it. All right, fast Ethernet adapter. Yeah, so those are drivers from Hewlett-Packard. SPF from Seagate Technologies. Seagate was a disk drive manufacturer, SCSI card manufacturer, Seagate. Seagate Personal Firewall. We don't need to install it. I just wanted to see what it was. We'll hit cancel. Yes, I want to cancel. That's why I hit the cancel button. I know that's kind of weird. Okay, so that is the utilities folder, and like I said, it looks like it's a bunch of downloads, not really a bunch of, I mean, they are utilities that have been downloaded into the utilities folder, but they're not like installed and running. Multi-PSK. Multi-PSK clock. See some APRS stuff. Attention, at the first startup, the automatic test to determine the approximative speed of the sound card is done. The user will then manually do the second test panel, determination of the sound card speed. Interesting. Mixer search, sound card management. I don't know why this is called clock. I guess you're clocking the sound card. Interface for SDR receiver. Okay, so this looks like it's a bunch of different ways to synchronize your time clock using WWV or WWVH, using WWVB, using GPS, using a couple of other frequencies, or using internet time. Time extraction from RFC 868 Internet Time Server. What is rugby? There's tooltips. At least there was for internet time. We'll click it. Rugby receive transmission, local time display and control. No alarm in limited version. Okay. So if you're looking for a clock synchronization tool, this tool might be pretty good for you. Let's see. I don't see like a help about menu. It doesn't really expand on the screen very well. Actions. So yeah, this is going to synchronize your time based on radio signals that it receives. All right, what's in the QSO folder? There is a 21 hour, 26 minute, 24 second file. So it says QSO 2010. I guess it was 21:26 was the time that the QSO was made. It wasn't a 21-hour long QSO. That would be excessive. All right, what else do we have in here? We've got an example WAV file. Oh, not going to set up Windows Media Player to listen to WAV files. That's kind of overkill. Got an installer, multi-PSK. Let's see what multi-PSK does for us. There it is. The modern digital transceiver, version 4.18. I love when hams make software. This is a bit overwhelming with all of the stuff that you have the ability to do here, but this looks like a way to send PSK. I realize that that's probably why it's named multi-PSK. Let's see. RxTX screen. Wow. All right, so multi-PSK looks like a way to send digital modes. We can now do this with FLDigi on modern computers. And yes, I'm sure I would like to exit. All right, so that's multi-PSK. All right, and that's about all that's in that folder. Let's see, what else do we have? Music, Qforms messages. Okay, so that's all of my documents. Digital interfaces. What do we have in digital interfaces? All right, so we have a RS-232 English and an RS-232 French file, and we saw these in the My Documents folder, and we also saw these in the multi-PSK folder, so I'm going to assume these come from multi-PSK. All right, this tells you how to make the interface to connect to your radio to a Kenwood TS440S. All right, that's good to have. All right, so that's the digital interfaces folder. HF programs, multi-PSK. Man, this thing is just everywhere on this machine. Okay, so there's no executable there. It's just a bunch of text files. Let's see, radiomail.txt. Look at a couple of these. Radio mail multi-PSK version 3. Pairs. Pair 5 of sets of 12 sequences. Okay. Packet. Okay, that makes sense if you understand packet radio. It looks like it's a bunch of pathways to take to get to where you need to get. APRS.txt, wide and trace, yep. Okay, so that's the multi-PSK folder inside of the HF programs folder. On the desktop, let's see, assorted programs. Outlook Express and QForms from QED Software. QED. And when I ran it, it created a couple of folders. Hey, the clock is still up to date. And then when it opened up, it created a couple more files. Oh, okay. Yep, this is a form for sending radiograms. Excellent. I have a radiograms video on my Temporarily Offline ham radio channel where we explore sending radiograms back and forth. This looks like it's just going to fill it out and then view in browser, view as text, clear form, send via SMTP server, options, help, about, QForms version 1.4.4.0. www.activeham.com. Okay. And then these are all files and folders that it created when I ran it. So let's delete those, which will send them to the recycle bin. All right, then we have AC log 3.0. I'm going to assume this is a logging program. Amateur contact call KB9 OBF, so that belonged to Dan. Please, would you like to adjust the UTC offset on this program? Please click OK. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yep, I was going to say this looks a lot like N3FJP, and that's because it is N3FJP logger. And it looks like it hasn't changed much over the years because this is pretty much how it looks currently. Let's see if we can look in the existing logbook. Open ham log. It didn't complain, but it's also not showing me contacts. Print log, print addresses, import, export, sort log, convert, watch list. That's not where I clicked, but that's okay. Call book. List. So call books would be a way to look up your call sign that you're communicating with and see what their name is and what their location is and all that kind of stuff. List. All. Yeah. Search. Awards. This logbook appears to be empty. Womp womp. No contacts made. All right, let's see. It says Amateur Contact Log 3.0, 1998 to 2007, written by G. Scott Davis, N3FJP. Was first released in 1998. Since then, the program has seen quite a few enhancements. And N3FJP is a fantastic program. I like using N3FJP for the state QSO parties. It gives you the running tally of the different counties that you've contacted in the state, and it'll tell you if you've made duplicates, and it'll tell you about multipliers, and it's updated yearly for the contest rules, and it is some fantastic stuff for that. Let's see. Let's exit. All right, we already did multi-PSK. Let's see, Digipan. All right, it believes that it's receiving signals already. I don't know where it's getting those signals from. Just ambient noise, electrical noise in the ham shack here. File. It does some logging. Clear RX window. All right, so it's going to do a bunch of different PSK modes or Pactor. And so these modes are different ways of communicating back and forth. They're different methods of encoding data so that it can be sent over the airwaves and then received by another computer and decoded. And you just want to make sure that you're talking BPSK 31 on your end, and the person who is listening on BPSK 31 mode on their end, so that you guys can have a conversation. And if I had a radio hooked up to this, you'd be able to see some data down here. You'd be able to see some decoding over here. I do not have a radio configured to hook up to this machine. Ham scope. Ham scope 151. So more logging. And this is also getting some ambient electrical noise from somewhere. It's interesting that it's picking up noise. There's no microphone plugged into the machine. And there's a lot of serial ports on the machine, so there's lots of ways for it to get input, but right now there currently isn't. So there's a noise floor here that exists when everything is unplugged, which is interesting. So you can do identification using Morse code. You can turn your radio on with a tuning signal so you can tune it. And a bunch of other settings. This is currently set for RTTY, it looks like. Let's see. Settings. General setup, customize, view, rig control. Can't open radio port. Check setup. Well, I was trying to go into setup. I don't want to set the screen up. I want to set the radio up. General setup. Call sign is N9XH. That's the Polk County Amateur Radio Association club call. Rig control setup. IC 746, 9600 baud. ICOM 746 radio. That's a nice radio. Cancel that. So Hamscope appears to be a program that will do RTTY mode, or BPSK mode, or QPSK, or CW, or packet, or MFSK. Excellent. Wonder how good the CW decoder is. It's probably just a bunch of E's and T's. All right. That's a joke. That's not a dig on Hamscope. All right, MMSSTV. I wonder what the MM stands for. Probably the ham's initials that created it. Help version information. MMSSTV by MMHamsoft at egroups.co.jp. That's interesting. MMSSTV at yahoogroups.com. Yahoo Groups is defunct. It's gone now. JE3HHT created this. Okay, so this is a tool for sending and receiving SSTV images. SSTV is a way to send, I don't know why they call it slow scan TV, because it's a single image. But that's just the name of the mode. So slow scan television is what SSTV stands for, and it's a way of sending images one frame at a time over ham radio. And you customize the image by putting like your call sign on it, or you can reply with a copy of the image that was sent to you with a new image that you're sending back, and that will work as kind of a signal report. It's a fun mode to play with. I play with it a bit. I have a video on my ham radio channel that has 24 hours worth of SSTV decodings on 14.230 megahertz. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that you see in there. It's kind of like a snapshot of what's going on in the world at that time, because people are sending political messages, or people are sending pictures of fancy cars, or they're sending pictures of beautiful scenery, or they're just sending pictures with words on them. But it's just, it's a way to play around with radio and explore and do more stuff, and it's pretty neat. It's pretty fun to play with. MMSSTV. Close that out. That is all of the programs on the desktop. Let's see what else there is. We already did Digipan. Outpost. Is Outpost gone? Outpost is gone. That's a shame. I'm going to miss Outpost. AC Log we did. MMSSTV we did. My documents, my recent documents, my pictures, my music, my computer. Let's do all programs. We already looked for Outpost and it's gone. Digipan we did. Games. Free Cell Hearts. All the standard stuff that comes. Nothing fancy. Hewlett-Packard DeskJet, HP print screen, Java, MMS Outpost is empty. Nothing in startup. We already looked there. The Adobe Acrobat readers. We've got a radio group with Airmail in it. Airmail 3. Let's see what that looks like. It's interesting that the file cabinet is program files. Let's maximize this screen if it will allow us to. Jim KE6RK from 2008. Okay, so it did a bunch of internal updates. Let's see what it says. C program files, Airmail, Bulletin, Inbox, Outbooks, Prop Query, Transit, and Trash. So, help, about, unlicensed use is prohibited. See license in the help index for details. A little copyright. All right, contents. Intro. Intro again. Airmail is an email for the airwaves, a radio messaging program for ham. SailMail, another licensed radio. SailMail, that's interesting. And it uses Pactor. All right. That's what I wanted to know, was what kind of modulation it uses and all that jazz. So, interesting. Anything in the inbox? We're kind of looking at it already. Any saved messages? Any bulletins? Any saved bulletins? Anything in the outbox? Anything saved? Anything in the trash? So it doesn't look like it was used a whole heck of a lot, or whoever used it cleaned up after themselves. Let's see. Interesting place for that. There's an icon in the corner that every Windows program has, and then there's this one here that is the same thing. I guess it's a window within the window. Let's see. Yeah, that's a window within the window. That's why it's doing that. Okay, cool. So a way to send email over ham radio frequencies. That's Airmail. And today we use WinLink. And what else do we have? That was under radio, Airmail 3, and 3FGP software is the AC log. So we looked at all of that stuff. Let's see if there's anything hiding on the computer itself. My computer, C drive, scan disk, auto exec, Windows. Okay, so yep, there we go. This machine was upgraded from Windows 98. This appears to be the Windows 98 install folder. Scan disk setup. Yep. Okay. What else do we have? These are folders that are usually temporary folders for doing Windows updates, and it's usually safe to delete these if you're looking to recover some disk space. There's ham scope, and we looked at ham scope already. Cantronics CAM modules. So this would be for your TNC, your terminal node controller, which is a fancy name for HF modem. Multi-PSK we looked at. Program files. Anything in program? They're hidden. Uh-oh. Let's see. Let's break the fourth wall and take a look at the program files. Accessories, Adobe, AOD, AOL. Common files, Digipan, Greasoft, AVG. Okay, yep. That's the antivirus program. We saw the installer for that earlier. So this is the folder where it was attempted to have installed itself. Internet Explorer, Java website, Microsoft front page, version 3. Oh man, I was going to design some really horrible websites. Movie Maker, Windows Movie Maker. Okay. There we go. Capture, import video, import pictures. Bit of a timeline at the bottom. I could not imagine. I mean, it's slow editing video on modern hardware. I can't imagine how horrible it would be to edit it on a Pentium 2 333. What else do we have? MSN Gaming Zone. Well, we're not connected to the internet, so that's not going to work, but there it is. Hearts Online. Netscape. Netscape. Components, yeah, it's not installed. Oh my goodness. How many folders deep can we get? Outlook Express. PackTerm 98. Install information. Windows NT. Xerox. Plus. Themes. No plus themes. Yeah, so this machine looks like it suffered the fate of being a Windows 98 machine that upgraded to Windows XP. And if you're going to do that, it's better just to start over from scratch. NetMeeting, MSN, Messenger. Which Messenger is this? None. It's none Messenger. Hewlett Packard, Com Plus applications. Chat. Alright, so we've looked at all of those programs. Let's see, what else do we have? Win98 folder programs, multi-PSK, we did all that. HP, we did all that. Did we do RMS? RMS packet. RMS link test. Data. Logs. Exceptions. Oh, trying to reach WinLink servers. Excellent. Let's see what this is. RMS packet setup wizard. Didn't we already look there? Oh yeah, we're in that folder. ccolon RMS, RMS packet 1, and there's RMS packet 1, RMS link test, RMS packet exe.old. I wonder why it did that. Okay, well it's already installed on the machine, and then somebody did some changes to it. This hard disk is so slow. I mean slow by the standards of the computer that it's in, not slow by today's standards. And it's noisy. You get fatigued listening to that all day long. I mean, it's good positive feedback that the computer is actually doing something. Telnet server and packet server. Interesting. Yep, so the telnet's not going to work because there's no Ethernet connection, and the packet's not going to work because there's no packet radio installed. So this would work with a KPC3. Is the way it's set up, and then you have to get the KPC3 connected to the radio. KPC3 is Cantronics terminal node controller, Cantronics PC connection, because Cantronics also made connections for other types of machines. It's checking the Autobot. It's not going to find anything. Let's see. Not really sure why the menu bar is orange. About RMS packet. RMS packet is a server program which provides a VHF-UHF packet gateway to the WinLink 2000 system. Excellent. And of course it wasn't able to initialize the KPC3 that we don't have. And it was already configured before, so it picked up the existing configuration that was left behind on the machine from way back when I ran this install. So, excellent. That was the RMS1 packet folder. Go back in here and double check I didn't miss anything else. Yep, Windows. The Windows folder. Oh, these are hidden too. What secrets lie beneath? None? None secrets? And just moving through the file system makes noise as it's trying to get all the icons and everything ready. Wow. Okay. All right. That was a trip through the history of a old ham shack computer. I mean, what you think about stuff like this? I love exploring old computers like this and trying to figure out what made them tick, what they were used for. This one was used for sending packet communications over ham radio. And that's something that we're going to do in the future on my other channel, Temporarily Offline Ham Radio. If you're not subscribed over there, what are you waiting for? Subscribe here too. Both of them are free. All right, so we saw on the front badge on the case that this is a machine that was built for Windows 98 and Windows NT, which would explain some of its performance difficulties with Windows XP. Looking inside, we have an ISA slot, 2 PCI slots. We've got our Pentium 2 233 with MMX technology. Over here you can see that there's 2 different kinds of RAM sticks. So it definitely got an upgrade. One of them's 32, the other one's 32. 32 plus 32 is 64. Down here we have the Yamaha YMF7 sound chip there. It's got the Intel PCI set. And then we have the Matrox MGA video card. And looks like the video RAM right here for the video card. And some more PCI set stuff. 443EX. So, and that's an AGP set, so that means that Matrox card is going to be AGP connected. I didn't realize AGP was that old. That's kind of ridiculous. We've got 2 IDE controller connections. We've got a floppy controller connection. We've got power. We have 2 PS2 ports, 1 USB port. Oh, that's amazing. Serial port, VGA port, parallel printer port, joystick port, and microphone, line out, and headphone settings. And then I went ahead and pulled the cards out. What we have for cards is this really interesting SIIG serial port setup, and it looks like it's got 2 serial ports on the back,
and then 2 headers for serial ports there, and then 2 built-in 16550s for these 2 serial ports, and then room for 2 more, and then a ridiculously easy way, if not, space optimized way of controlling it. What I think is interesting is it's got a 16-bit card edge connector. Huh. And then for that network card, we have a 3C905B, and 3Comp made some excellent network cards. It's got room for the boot ROM, and it's got the chip on it, and that's about it. So this would be a plug-and-play card, and 10100. So that's all the stuff that's inside this machine. There is a video right over here I think you'll enjoy next. Thanks for being awesome.